of strong, powerful, and intelligent women from around the globe. She wishes to make global connection and to create unions among more women and to make them feel empowered. She wants to enforce their rights and become the leader of today. She dreams of a freer, more united, more egalitarian world. She believes that unity is strength and diversity is power. From Nigeria, we have Jesu Luluwa Shoili. She is the final year student of University of Ibadan, Nigeria. She is also the project manager of Girl Up UI. From Texas, we have Ashley Pelham. Ashley Pelham is a rising high school senior living in a suburb outside of Dallas, Texas. In terms of Girl Up, she is the president of Girl Up Frisco, Texas, and the director of outreach and expansion for her North Texas Coalition's executive board. She hopes to pursue film and media studies in college, for she loves the entertainment industry and desires to enter the legal and business side of it. Ashley is very passionate about the intersectionality of race and gender and the voices of women of color being elevated in the workplace. She is greatly looking forward to discussing gender equality in the business with all of you. Lastly, from Girl Up Zia, we have Yukta Badane. Yukta had a fairly early experience with setting up a business. Having organized her first event when she was 15 years old, she has been a part of the professional world ever since. She has organized public speaking and leadership platforms for more than 4,200 students all across India. She has worked under the guidelines of the National Stock Exchange Securities and Exchange Board of India to organize more than 300 investor literacy programs pan India. Working in the financial sector with several asset management companies, she gained insight on how Indians perceive personal finance. She currently manages artists and helps them explore unique revenue streams while fulfilling their passions. I would like to extend a heartiest welcome to all of our speakers today. I hope we have a great discussion. Without further ado, I would like to start with the discussion. The first question I have for all of you is, how are the roles of men and women defined in the business sector of your country? Who would like to go first? How about Shivam? Would you like to go first?
Sure. I'd like to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world. I'm certainly honored and indeed grateful to be a part of this. To answer, Quaish, to answer your first question, how are the roles of men and women defined? I think in Hong Kong, I think it's quite similar to most other post-industrialist nations in the fact that there are certain male-dominated and women-dominated industries, right? And we can go on and talk about how these industries differ from each other. But I think it's not too, just as a general rule, I don't think it's way too different from any of the discussions that we hear, let's say in the United States or in Singapore or in the United Kingdom. So just off the top of my head, female-dominated industries in Hong Kong tend to be catering, care for the elderly, medicine, and these fields. And the typical male-dominated industries remain finance and STEM and fields related to these. And law as well has changed a little bit over the past few years, but it hangs in the balance. Um, and I'd definitely like to hear how it is in the rest of the world too.
Great, thank you. Yukta, would you like to go next?
Hello, everyone. Just myself, I'm a second year of economics at the Indian School of Business and Finance. And I'm telling you this because I want you to know that I belong to an urban, high income household where my parents support my education. Now, to give you of what happens in the odds of an infant born in this country to be where I am today is 0.092%. It is that low to be in a privilege as I am. So, yes, I am an extremely privileged person to be here. And I am in no way representative of the entire population of India, especially women. India is an extremely diverse country and it has its own set of problems and a unique group of problem solvers too. The business sector in India is not simply the big business or cyber hubs that we see in Delhi or Mumbai. It is the 93% of the workforce of India that lies in the unorganized sector. And that is the big reality of India. For women, 1/3 of women work in India. And in the business sector, 97% of these women, working women, are in a sector that is the unorganized sector. That is, it's unaccountable for the way it treats its women. So when it comes to roles, women in India have distinguished themselves as orators, lawyers, administrators, doctors, diplomats, politicians, which are the most male dominated areas. Accuracy, dedication, integrity of character are qualities that set women apart, and which is why people want them in the business sector. However, the urge to make it, despite not being characterized as a breadwinner in India, actually makes the woman passionate of what she's doing. Despite these qualities, women are only perceived as a domestic support. For example, if she's working, okay, she's working for a business firm, people would probably say that, okay, it's probably for the family. Or say if she owns a business, there is a common conversation that comes around it that, oh, doesn't her husband finance it? For example, if a woman owns several properties and real estate, it is just characterized as a gimmick to save taxes. So the way the stereotypes are functional in a normal society, these actually trickle down to the business sector. We forget that women come in a point which is beyond domestic support. We forget that in the education system, female teachers have revolutionized how young minds today in India think. Women leaders are supposed to be more empathetic and extremely stanced problem solvers. And this is how we define roles in India. We do not perceive her as the breadwinner, but we try to perceive her as a domestic support. And I feel this is where the potential gets untapped. So, yeah.
Who would like to go next?
I would, if that's all right.
Yes, that's great.
All right. First of all, thank you for inviting me over here on behalf of Girl of Qatar. And with regards to the question that was asked, that how is the role decided between men and women over here in Qatar? I think before, in olden times, like you can say 10 or 5 years before today, when I came here to Qatar, you could see the difference. There was a difference between men and women in the workforce. There were a lot of men going towards oil and engineering, and the women were only and only focused